Hello, my name is Dale Harris. I'm the current president of the Ham Club here at Willamette View Retirement Community. We're located just south of Portland, Oregon, right on the Willamette River. This video is intended for anyone interested particularly in our solar battery installation. It consists of two interviews. The first is an interview with Steve Jensen, KE7GXC, who designed our system and basically installed it for us. The second is with Craig Van Valkenburg, the CEO and president of our community. Craig explains why our community supports our club and particularly why we have the antennas on the roof that oftentimes retirement communities restrict. So we hope you enjoy this video. Our club, in cooperation with the administration at Willamette View, has recently added solar power to our ham shack. The designer, technical advisor, and hands-on technician for our project was Steve Jensen, KX7GXC, who's a member of the Ham Club in nearby Oregon City. Thanks for being with us, Steve.
Glad to.
First of all, can you tell us what some of the advantages of a solar installation in a ham shack are?
Well, certainly there are a number of advantages, but there are a number of disadvantages too,
okay,
especially in gloomy Oregon. And that is what we've just discussed this morning. February was very rainy and very cloudy. Year-round, however, there are many months, the majority of months, where there's plenty of sun to generate sufficient power to keep a set of batteries fully charged, topped off. In your case, you've installed 3 100-watt panels, which generate, if only one were facing the sun, at least 8 to 9 amperes at 12-13 volts into a battery. So there's plenty of power to charge these 150 amp hour very heavy batteries that we have here in the facility.
Can you tell us how we came to have these batteries? Did we have to buy them on the open market?
Well, I should introduce myself. I'm Steve Jensen, KE7GXC. I am the AEC, or Assistant Emergency Coordinator for Clackamas County. And with our CARES group, we've had an opportunity to take batteries as they're taken out of service from a number of different companies in the area. One of them has been Comcast, and others have been hospitals and so forth. The particular batteries that you have here in the ham shack are the 150 and 180 amp hour. They weigh about 80 pounds apiece. Gel cells from Comcast. They use those to keep their routers and what have you for the cable system operating when the power goes out. So they're a long-term durable battery. When those come to what they think is an end of life, they're designed for 10 years, they seem to discharge them at about 5. They send them to us, and we use them as long as they last, then recycle them.
Well, in other words, we get the batteries at a very minimal cost, and if we went on the open market, they'd be pretty expensive.
Yes, they typically are about $250 a piece. They give them to us for free. We're a 501c3, and we're allowed to take in such things, and
good.
Therefore, very inexpensively provide them to our members.
Absolutely, that's wonderful. I believe you have a diagram of the system as you designed it. Maybe we can get our videographer here to zoom in on it, and you can comment on the different elements in it.
Absolutely. What you chose were a set of well thought out 3 panels on the roof of your facility here. They're each 100 watts, and what that means is about 8 amps at 12 volts, something in that region. Open circuit is 18 to 20. Each one of the panels is oriented in a different direction. We have an east, a south, and a west. So that supplies the source of power here. Assuming that one's illuminated fully at a time as the sun progresses across the sky, we have then, say, 8 amperes to drive the solar charging system with. The power descends into the facility. We chose a very heavy wire inside of an armored metal conduit to bring it down to 2 floors, I think, from the roof,
right,
and into the ham shack, and it terminates into a disconnect and a circuit breaker. We've chosen a 20 amp junction box. It's on the wall behind me. I'll point up here. The disconnect is probably a little large, but they chose well. It's no doubt durable. Below that is a circuit breaker, and we had chose to put a 12 volt self-powered, I should say powered by the solar power, voltage display there. Currently, in our gloomy rainy day, it's putting out 12.4 volts, which is insufficient to charge the batteries, by the way. Then again, it's only
That's
another
one of the limitations of the solar system. If you haven't got the sun, you don't get the voltage you need.
exactly. So we're at 10:30 in the morning, and the sun's not quite to full brightness yet. Looking at the diagram, the power is distributed around the room using, again, a metal conduit. It's very, very durable and difficult to get into trouble with. At each one of the stations, we have 3 stations here, there is at least one metal conduit box, and that's where the solar power charge controllers are anchored and tied into the system, mechanically anchored and electrically connected. Those feed into batteries, and then the battery systems feed into the various radios. Charge controllers that we chose are Sun Saver by Morningstar. These are a model SS10 12 volt. Let's see, there we go. And they do have a series of status LEDs, one for battery condition green, battery condition lower yellow, and red, meaning it's not usable. There are also encodings of when the battery indicators blink and what have you, they're telling you the status of what's going on in the controller. They're heavily well-built professional equipment. They show you where to tie in the solar panel, the battery, and your loads. The other thing is, I chose this particular charge controller because they have the opportunity to be reconfigured through a cut wire under this metal plate. It allows you to configure it to a low RFI condition. These charge controllers typically operate at 100 kilohertz or thereabouts, which generates a lot of RFI, or radio frequency interference, for the HF folks. The VHF, it doesn't seem to be bothered so much by it, but the HF guys would be very sensitive to that. When these were installed in the shack, I lifted the plate, cut the run, and it changes it from a high frequency hash producing, RFI producing controller to a very slow pulse charge controller, and this of course doesn't produce much noise for the HF crowd. Does that answer the question, I guess?
Well, I think so, and I should point out, for the sake of our ham friends that are viewing this, that Willamette View, our CCRC administration, paid for a licensed electrician to install the solar panels on the roof and then bring the power down to the cutoff switch. Our friend here, Steve, was very generous in his time, and he hooked up all the charge controllers around the perimeter of the room. I think, Steve, you've got a picture here of the solar panels, each oriented in a different direction.
Yeah, they've tied them down to the roof, and they have frames, and the conduit arrives. And at any rate, as you can see, east, south, and west. I think it's an ingenious solution.
And you notice that they're fastened not to the roof physically, but they're weighted down with sandbags. The panels were ordered from Amazon, and the racks, the holders, were actually designed by our maintenance folks here, and they put the panels in, and then the licensed contractor did the wiring from then. So it's been a joint project. It was jointly funded by our ham club through personal contributions and also by the administration, because the administration knows that this helps us be a communication link in times of an emergency. Steve, we're so appreciative of the counsel you've given us, the time you put into this. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, I think I'd cover briefly a couple of safety points.
Sure.
Each one of the charge controllers is connected to the solar bus with a fused link, and there are large Anderson, the SB50 50 ampere rated disconnect connectors liberally used in order to isolate faults, so that we can disconnect charge controllers, batteries, loads from the radios and so forth, and reconfigure should one piece of equipment fail. It won't keep us from being on the air.
Well, Steve, we so much appreciate you being with us, and today, and especially for all the work you did for us. And
Yes.
we hope those
Thank you. It's
hams
a
watching
pleasure.
this video will have a better idea of our solar installation and encourage you to seek one out for yourself.
Craig, the Radio Club is really appreciative of all the support you've given us. Some retirement communities object to having antennas on the roof. Why is it that it's okay with you at Willamette?
For a variety of reasons. We've had the antennas, and in fact, we have multiple antennas up on the roof, and even for cell phones, cell phone tower and correspondence. So for us, it is not an issue about having antennas on the roof. It's really part of the resident engagement, it's part of the emergency services that we're part of in the county. It is kind of part of the new business. As Willamette View, I think it's a draw for people that are radio operators that want to move here. I think it's actually a novelty. I get asked questions from people, what are those antennas on your roof, and I explain it to them. I have never had anybody say to me that they're unsightly, they're inappropriate, why would you have done that? They think the fact that we are so deeply involved in communications and emergency planning in our area, that they think it's a pretty neat idea that we do that.
Now, our Ham Club and Willamette View shared the cost of installing solar panels on the roof. What advantages do you see for that for Willamette View, having the solar panels?
I think it was wonderful that we did that. I think it gives us actually an opportunity to test what solar can do for us. We obviously have a lot of flat roofs on our community, and know that we'll be introducing more solar in the future, so I think it gives us a good starting point to test it and see how it works. And I think it's a great idea that the club did it in an effort to use the natural resources to charge batteries for the club. And it helps us with our green team and our green efforts in an incremental way to kind of start down that path of using alternative energy sources.
Good. Thanks, Craig.
Thank you.